I was dressed in black, the weight of grief heavy on my shoulders as I stepped outside that morning. My son was gone, and today I was on my way to hear the reading of his will. The air felt colder than usual, sharp against my skin, as if it carried a warning I couldn't yet understand. I clutched my purse tighter, forcing myself to stay composed. With each step toward the car, memories of my son flickered through my mind, his laughter as a boy, the pride in his eyes when he grew into a man. That was the son I remembered. But the family he left behind, that was a different story. I slid the key into the car door, my hands trembling just slightly, and that's when I heard it, frantic footsteps pounding against the driveway. I turned, startled, to see my neighbor racing toward me, her face pale with panic. She screamed, "Don't start the engine!" In that instant, my heart stopped. A chill crept through me, colder than any winter wind. I froze, my breath caught in my chest. Why would she say that? And then the thought I didn't want to think slashed through my mind. Someone wanted me dead. I stood there, silent, my mind spinning in every direction. Could it be a stranger, or could it be someone much closer? Someone I trusted, someone who smiled at me just days ago? I said nothing, but deep inside, I already knew. This was just the beginning. I sit behind the wheel, shaken but calm, deciding to continue the drive. My neighbor's words still ring in my ears like a warning bell I can't silence. "Don't start the engine." Those 4 words felt like they could split my chest open, because what they meant was too terrifying to say aloud. Someone wanted me gone. Someone close. Someone who knew my car, my habits, my routine. My hands tremble slightly as I rest them on the steering wheel, but I steady myself. I've lived long enough to know that fear, if left unchecked, can swallow you whole. My son is gone, and now, danger lurks in the shadows of those who should have been my family. Still, I decide to drive. I tell myself, if they wanted to scare me, I won't give them that satisfaction. If they wanted to stop me, they'll have to face me directly. The road stretches out before me, gray and endless, but every mile feels heavy. My son is gone, yet his absence sits beside me like an invisible passenger. I can almost hear his voice in the hum of the engine, almost see his reflection in the side mirror, almost believe that if I turned my head fast enough, he'd be sitting there in the passenger seat, smiling the way he used to when we went on long drives together. But no, he's gone, and all that remains is the silence. That silence, it's unbearable. It presses against me harder than the seatbelt across my chest. Every mile marker I pass feels like a toll, demanding I pay with another painful memory. And the memories come, uninvited, unwelcome, unstoppable. I think of the funeral, the church heavy with perfume, flowers masking the bitter scent of loss, and the murmurs of people who only showed up to be seen. My daughter-in-law standing at the front, her eyes dry as stone, her lips curved in something that was never grief, only calculation. She wore black, yes, but I swear I caught the glimmer of triumph in her gaze when she thought no one was watching. Since that day, she's treated me coldly, like I was nothing more than an inconvenience to be endured. Not a mother who lost her only son. Not a woman broken with grief. No, to her, I was just an obstacle. Something in her way. Something she wanted removed. I recall the way she avoided my eyes as guests offered condolences, the way she whispered to others behind her hand, her voice sharp, her tone impatient. She wanted the service over quickly. She wanted me silent, tucked away in the corner, forgotten. As if I hadn't raised the very man she married. As if I hadn't been the one who stood by him his entire life. I replay every memory now, one by one, as the car hums steadily beneath me. Her whispers at the dinner table, her greed when she pushed my son to buy things he didn't need, her impatience when she thought I was too slow, too old, too useless. Every small cruelty gathers now into something darker, more dangerous. I grip the wheel tighter, my knuckles pale against the leather. I realize she has been waiting for this moment, waiting for the chance to cut me out, to erase me. But what she doesn't know is this: silence is not weakness. I've spent a lifetime learning how to endure, how to observe, how to let people believe I was smaller than I really am. She doesn't know the patience of a mother. She doesn't know the strength that grief can give. The silence in the car feels louder than words. It fills every corner of my mind. No radio, no music, no distraction. Just the hum of tires against the road, the whisper of wind against glass, and the echo of my own heartbeat. But within that silence, something else stirs. A kind of clarity. I see now what I didn't want to admit before. She isn't just unkind. She isn't just selfish. She is dangerous. I breathe deeply, steadying myself as the road curves into a long stretch of empty fields. Each passing tree stands like a witness, tall and indifferent, as if nature itself is watching this drive, this choice, this moment. My heart aches for my son, but my mind sharpens like a blade. He may be gone, but his truth lives on in me. And if she thinks she can erase me, she will learn that I am not so easily silenced. I remember the last conversation I had with him, just days before he was taken from me. His voice was tired, softer than usual, but there was something behind it, a weight he carried. "Mom," he had said, "take care of yourself. Don't trust too easily." At the time, I thought it was nothing more than a son worrying for his aging mother. But now those words feel like a prophecy. I glance at the empty seat beside me, whispering under my breath, "I'm listening now, son. I hear you." The miles roll on, and with them, so does my resolve. I will get to that will reading. I will hear with my own ears what he left behind. And I will see with my own eyes the face of the woman who thought she could bury me with lies. My neighbor's warning still gnaws at me. What was in that car? What did she know? The thought that someone tampered with the engine makes my skin crawl. Was it poison in the air vents? A cut brake line, or something even crueler? Whoever it was, they wanted to silence me before I could sit at that table, before the truth could be spoken. But here I am, still breathing, still driving, still moving forward. And as the silence presses down, I realize something vital. I am not the one who should be afraid. She is. I drive on, the weight of grief heavy, the shadow of betrayal darker than night, but my heart steady with a single thought. The truth will not be buried, not with my son, not with me. So I keep driving through the silence, through the memories, through the pain. Every mile carries me closer to the moment everything will unravel. And though the road is long, I know this. The woman waiting at that will reading has no idea what's about to come. The silence may be heavy, but I carry it like armor, because sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is revenge. I arrive near the attorney's office and pause before stepping in. The building looms in front of me, brick and glass rising against the gray sky, but to me it feels heavier than stone. My hands tighten around the handle of my purse, as if it were the only thing anchoring me to this world. My heart thuds in my chest, steady but strong, carrying not just grief, but suspicion, dread, and something else. Resolve. For a moment, I don't move. I just stand there on the sidewalk, staring at the entrance. The glass doors reflect my image back at me. A woman dressed in black, her face pale, her eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. I hardly recognize myself. But I know one thing. I am not the weak figure they want me to be. I am not the quiet ghost they hope will fade. I draw in a breath, deep and steady, and then another, preparing myself. With each breath, I let the fear leave me and the strength return. My son may be gone, but he hasn't left me powerless. He left me something. The truth. When I finally push open the door, the atmosphere inside wraps around me like a suffocating fog. The lobby is too warm, the air thick with perfume and whispers. Family members gather inside, whispering as if I don't exist. Their voices rise and fall in sharp little bursts, their eyes darting to me, then away, like children caught in a lie. They know something. Or perhaps they fear something. Either way, their whispers feel like daggers aimed at my back. I straighten my shoulders and move forward slowly, each step deliberate. I won't give them the satisfaction of rushing or stumbling. My heels tap softly against the polished floor, echoing in the silence between their words. I am aware of every glance, every sideways smirk, every hushed voice. And then I see her. My daughter-in-law. She sits near the front, her posture too stiff, her hands fidgeting nervously in her lap. When my eyes meet hers, she turns away quickly, pretending to shuffle papers that aren't there. She avoids my eyes as if my gaze burns her. She knows something. No, she fears something. I sense fear in her, the kind of fear only guilt creates. Not the trembling fear of a child caught in a mistake, but the heavy, suffocating fear of someone whose secrets are about to unravel. Her skin is pale, her lips pressed tight together, and though she tries to keep still, her fingers betray her, tapping restlessly against her skirt. I don't speak. Not yet. Words are powerful, yes, but silence can be devastating. So I say nothing. I just take my seat, quietly watching. The room seems to shift around me, the whispers softening, the tension tightening like a rope pulled taut. My presence alone unsettles them, and that thought gives me strength. They expected me not to come, or maybe they expected me not to survive the journey here. Either way, my arrival has thrown their careful plans into chaos. The lawyer hasn't arrived yet, so the family stirs in their unease. Cousins murmur among themselves. An uncle coughs into his hand, avoiding my gaze. My daughter-in-law shifts in her seat again, her knuckles white as she grips the armrest. And me? I sit still, silent, my hands folded neatly in my lap, my eyes watching, my mind turning. I remember the days before all this, before the betrayal. I remember how she smiled sweetly when my son was alive, how she kissed his cheek in front of me, how she pretended to be the perfect wife. But behind closed doors, her mask slipped. I saw the impatience in her eyes when my son spoke kindly of me. I heard the sharpness in her tone when she thought I wasn't listening. I knew deep down that she didn't see me as family. She saw me as a burden. Now in this room, she doesn't even try to hide it. Her coldness has curdled into something darker. Not just resentment, not just greed, but fear. I lean back slightly in my chair, keeping my composure. Let her squirm. Let her feel the weight of my silence. Every second that passes is a mirror held up to her guilt. The others pretend to make small talk, but I can hear the tension in their voices. They are waiting for the lawyer to arrive, waiting for the will to be read, waiting to see if their greed will be satisfied. I can almost taste it, the hunger in the room. It hangs in the air heavier than the scent of flowers at my son's funeral. My daughter-in-law's eyes flicker toward me again, just for a moment. Our gazes lock, and in that instant I see everything. The calculation, the desperation, the fear. She blinks rapidly, then looks away, her hand rising to smooth her hair, though it doesn't need smoothing. She is unraveling, and I haven't spoken a word. Inside, I whisper to myself, patience. Let them show themselves. Let them reveal what they are. Truth always crawls out, no matter how deep it's buried. So I sit there, quiet, still, letting my silence speak louder than any accusation. I know the truth is coming. And when it does, I won't have to raise my voice. I won't have to argue. I'll just be here, watching, while their own guilt destroys them. The clock on the wall ticks slowly, each second echoing in the thick silence. My heart is steady now. My mind is sharp. Betrayal surrounds me, shadows curling around every corner of the room. But I am not afraid. I've walked through darker shadows before. And I know one thing with absolute certainty. Their whispers will soon turn to screams. The heavy oak door creaks open, and the room shifts into silence. The lawyer has arrived. His briefcase swings at his side, polished leather catching the dull glow of the ceiling lights. His shoes click against the tiled floor as he walks to the front, every sound amplified in the tense stillness. No one dares to speak. The whispers that filled the air only moments ago vanish into nothing. The cousins lower their eyes, the uncles clear their throats, and my daughter-in-law shifts uncomfortably in her chair. She folds her hands in her lap, but her fingers won't stop twitching. The lawyer sits, pulls a thick file from his case, and sets it gently on the polished table. His eyes scan the room with calm professionalism, though I notice the faint shadow of sympathy in his gaze when it meets mine. He clears his throat once and begins. The lawyer begins reading my son's will. His voice is steady, measured, each word landing like a drop of water on stone. At first, everything seems ordinary. Names, instructions, property lists. He speaks of small bequests to distant relatives, sentimental items handed down, formalities that fill the air with monotony. I watch the room carefully. My relatives lean forward, eager for their share. My daughter-in-law sits taller, as if she expects to be the star of this performance. Her lips curve upward slightly, a smile she tries to hide. She believes she knows what's coming. She believes her future is already secure. But then, the rhythm changes. The lawyer clears his throat again, adjusts his glasses, and continues. His voice deepens as he turns to the final portion of the will. The room stills, as if every person inside holds the same breath. And then the truth spills out. He left me in control of everything. Gasps fill the room. Sharp, shocked intakes of breath, like knives cutting through the silence. A cousin mutters under his breath. An aunt lets out a soft cry of disbelief. And my daughter-in-law, her face turns pale, the color draining from her cheeks until she looks almost ghostly. She thought she had secured her future. She thought wrong. Her lips part, but no words come. Her eyes widen, darting first to the lawyer, then to me. For the first time, she looks directly at me. Not with disdain, not with coldness, but with horror. The lawyer continues reading, unbothered by the storm unraveling in the room. I appoint my mother as sole executor of my estate, he says. His voice rings like a gavel in a courtroom. All property, holdings, and accounts shall be placed under her care and discretion. It is my wish and my instruction that she alone decides the future of what I leave behind. Her hands clutch at the armrests, knuckles white. She leans forward as though she might interrupt, but no sound escapes her. Around us, the room ripples with unease. The greedy shuffle in their seats. The opportunists exchange quick, sharp glances. But I remain still, silent, my face calm as stone. Inside, my heart thunders, not with fear, not with grief, but with a strange, quiet vindication. My son saw the truth. He knew her, he knew them all. And in his final act, he protected me. I close my eyes for just a moment, whispering to myself, "Thank you, son. You still speak for me." When I open them again, I see her, my daughter-in-law. Her mask has shattered. The confidence, the arrogance, the greed, all gone, replaced with something raw, something fragile. She looks cornered, like an animal caught in a trap of her own making. The lawyer reads on, detailing accounts, investments, properties, all of it mine to oversee. The more he speaks, the deeper her silence becomes. She slumps slightly in her chair, but her eyes never leave me now. Each word he reads is a nail in the coffin of the future she thought she owned. Gasps turn into murmurs. Murmurs turn into restless shifting. The air thickens with disbelief. Some look at me with envy, others with resentment. But I don't look back at them. My eyes remain fixed on her. My silence becomes a mirror in which she sees her guilt. I think back to every moment she dismissed me, Every cruel word whispered when she thought I couldn't hear. Every impatient glance she threw at me in my own son's house. She believed she had outsmarted me. She believed my silence was weakness. But here now, she finally understands. Silence can be power. Silence can be devastating. The lawyer sets down his papers, his task complete. These are the wishes of the deceased, he says, his tone final, and they are binding. The words echo in the room like a closing door. There is no escape, no loophole, no negotiation. The decision is sealed, signed by the very man she thought she controlled. I inhale slowly, letting the moment wash over me. My son's voice, though gone from this world, speaks louder than ever. He chose me. He trusted me. And in doing so, he revealed the truth about everyone else. I glance at my daughter-in-law one final time. Her eyes glisten, though not with tears of love or loss, but with the sting of defeat. She grips the table, steadying herself, but it's too late. The future she built in her mind has collapsed around her. And I? I sit in silence, my strength unspoken, my presence undeniable. For the first time since my son's death, I feel not broken, but unbreakable. The room is silent, but the silence is not peace. It is heavy, suffocating, like the air before a storm. Faces turn toward the lawyer, each expression a mask of forced calm, but beneath those masks lies fear, greed, and suspicion. I can feel it pressing against me from every side. The lawyer clears his throat and adjusts his glasses, the faint rustle of paper filling the stillness. His voice resumes, steady but sharper now, as if the words themselves cut through the air. He continues, not with property lists or ordinary matters, but with something darker. The lawyer continues. Debts, lies, hidden accounts are revealed. His words strike like thunderclaps in the silence. He speaks of money drained from joint accounts, of loans taken in secret, of transfers hidden in names that were not my son's. The room shifts, gasps echo, but no one interrupts. Each revelation hangs in the air like smoke from a fire no one can put out. And then comes the heaviest blow. He reads aloud documents proving that funds had been siphoned, manipulated, concealed. My son's estate had been tampered with, but not by strangers, not by distant hands. The betrayal lived within the walls of his own home. My daughter-in-law trembles, clutching the chair. Her knuckles whiten, her chest rises and falls too quickly. She presses her lips together as if to hold back a cry, but the truth leaks into every crack of her composure. Her eyes dart toward me, then away, then back again. I say nothing. I don't move. I simply watch silently as the weight of her schemes crushes her. Every word the lawyer speaks seems to push her deeper into a pit she dug herself. Her back curves forward, her shoulders sag. She tries to sit tall, to mask her unraveling, but the truth is relentless. It digs, it exposes, it devours. The others notice too. Murmurs ripple across the table. An aunt whispers into her gloved hand. A cousin leans closer to hear every detail. An uncle shakes his head in disbelief. They all stare at her now. Not me. She has become the spectacle. She has become the scandal. Her breathing grows shallow. Her fingers dig into the wooden armrest as though she might snap it off. She swallows hard, blinking rapidly, but her eyes lose focus. And then it happens. She faints, unable to bear the truth. Her body slumps forward first, her head dipping low. Then her whole form collapses sideways out of the chair. The sound of her fall echoes through the chamber. A dull thud followed by the clatter of her jewelry against the floor. Nobody rushes to help. They all just stare. The silence is deafening, broken only by the shallow gasps of those too shocked to speak. Eyes widen, lips part, but no one moves. Not one hand reaches out. Not one voice cries her name. They simply watch her lie there, sprawled across the polished floor, her carefully crafted dignity shattered. And me? I remain seated, my hands folded in my lap, My eyes steady. My heart does not race. My breath does not falter. I simply observe. Because in that moment, I realize something undeniable. She is not the victim. She is the architect of her own ruin. The lawyer clears his throat again, a sound too loud in the tension, but he does not stop. His duty is to the will, not to her collapse. His voice continues, calm and relentless, as if nothing has happened. More debts, more deceit, more evidence of betrayal. She lies at our feet, but the truth towers above her. Around the room, the others begin to whisper again, but the whispers are different now. They are not about me. They are not about grief. They are about her. Words like fraud and liar and shameful slip into the air, each one a dagger aimed at her still body. She stirs faintly, a groan escaping her lips, but no one bends to lift her. No one extends a hand. It is as though the entire room has decided. She is no longer one of us. I look at her lying there, pale and broken, and I feel no pity. Not because I am cruel, but because I know the cruelty began with her. She sought to erase me. She sought to steal what was never hers. She sought to bury me in silence. And yet here I sit, and there she lies. The irony is sharp, almost poetic. She thought power came from greed. She thought security came from deception. But true power, true strength, comes from truth, from silence, from patience. The lawyer reads the final hidden account aloud, his voice echoing through the room like a judge pronouncing sentence. No one applauds. No one protests. They simply absorb the truth, heavy and undeniable. Finally, when his words fade into silence, the weight of everything lingers. The faint sound of her shallow breathing is the only reminder that she is still with us. Slowly, she pushes herself up onto her elbows, her face drained of color, her eyes glazed. She tries to sit again, to reclaim some fragment of dignity, but it is gone. No chair can restore what has been lost. I sit perfectly still, my silence louder than any speech I could give. The room looks to me now, not to her. And in their eyes, I see it. Respect, fear, acknowledgement. Not one of them dares to speak against me, not after what they've witnessed. I lower my gaze, not to hide, but to conceal a small truth of my own. Deep inside, I feel my son's presence. I feel him guiding this moment, as if his hand still rests on my shoulder, steadying me. His truth has spoken louder than her lies ever could. The storm has passed, but its destruction remains. She is broken, her schemes exposed, her allies gone. And me? I remain untouched, silent, watching, strong. Because sometimes revenge doesn't come from action. Sometimes it comes from letting the truth speak, and letting the guilty collapse under its weight. The air in the attorney's office no longer feels like the same air I walked into earlier. It is heavier now, drenched in the stench of exposed lies and crushed illusions. Papers still sit on the polished desk, but they are no longer just papers. They are daggers, each word cut into the heart of deceit. And me? I remain calm, saying nothing as the chaos unfolds. My daughter-in-law tries to sit upright, her face drained of its usual fire. The room watches her, not with sympathy, not with compassion, but with the cold curiosity one reserves for a fallen figure. She was once loud, commanding attention, demanding what she thought she deserved. But now she trembles, shamed, her voice nowhere to be found. I fold my hands in my lap, my posture straight, my gaze steady. I do not need to speak. My silence becomes my strength, louder than any accusation. Across the table, my relatives glance at me with something unfamiliar in their eyes. It isn't pity. It isn't dismissal. No, it is respect. And behind that respect, a flicker of fear. They realize now that I am not the frail woman they thought they could sideline. I am the keeper of the truth, the one my son trusted when he could trust no one else. The attorney clears his throat again, his voice cutting through the murmurs. He repeats the closing instructions of the will. Every property, every account, every decision rests in my hands. My daughter-in-law is not mentioned again. Her name no longer carries weight. She looks at me then, her eyes wide, almost pleading, but I do not return the emotion. I don't need to shout. I don't need to fight. The truth has already done the work for me. And so I let silence fill the room, a silence that wraps around me like armor, protecting me, elevating me. It is not weakness. It is power. Because those who have nothing to hide do not need noise. They need only patience. I can feel the shift in the room. The same relatives who once avoided my gaze now meet it, nervously, cautiously. They whisper less about her and more about me. I hear fragments. Strong, unshaken, just like her son. These words do not flatter me. They simply confirm what I already know, that my quiet has become my revenge. She stumbles to her feet, unsteady, her face pale and blotched with tears she tries to suppress. She mumbles something about not feeling well, about leaving. No one stops her. No one offers to walk her out. The door closes behind her, and with it, the last remnants of her imagined power vanish. The attorney looks back to me, his expression steady but softened. "Do you have anything you wish to say?" he asks. I shake my head slowly. No words are needed. My silence is enough. And that silence, that unshaken composure, spreads like fire through the room. One by one, eyes lower. Conversations die before they begin. Everyone understands. I will not be challenged. My presence, my patience has spoken volumes. Time passes differently now. Minutes feel stretched, elongated, as if the room itself is pausing to absorb the shift in balance. My quiet revenge is not a single moment. It is a slow burn, a lesson etched into every witness here. When the meeting finally ends, people rise from their chairs cautiously, some nodding politely toward me, others avoiding my gaze altogether. But each one knows the truth. I stood firm without raising my voice. I won without lifting a hand. As I gather my things, I feel the weight of my son's love pressing against my heart. He knew. He must have known. That is why he entrusted me with everything. Not because I was loud, not because I demanded, but because I endured. The corridor outside the office feels brighter, the air lighter. Relatives file out behind me, whispering still, but their whispers no longer sting. They are filled with awe, with caution, with acknowledgement. They see me differently now, and that is my quiet revenge. Not a slap, not a scream, not a scene. Just silence. The kind of silence that unsettles, that lingers, that speaks louder than any battle cry. For years I endured her cruelty, her dismissive glances, her greedy whispers, her subtle jabs at my worth. She thought silence meant weakness. She thought patience meant surrender. But today, in front of everyone, she learned the truth. Silence is not surrender. Silence is strategy. And when wielded properly, silence is victory. I walk down the steps of the office building, the sound of my heels clicking against the marble floor. Each step echoes like a drumbeat, steady, strong, final. Behind me, voices fade, doors close, but ahead of me stretches freedom. Freedom not only from her schemes, but from the shadow she tried to cast over me. Outside, the world feels different. The sky is vast, the breeze cool against my face. I take a deep breath, filling my lungs with the crisp air of vindication. I don't need to announce what has happened. I don't need to retell the story. Everyone who mattered was there, and they saw it unfold. They saw the truth crush her. They saw me remain untouched. And they will carry that image with them forever. That is my quiet revenge. The revenge of a mother who lost her son but not her dignity. The revenge of a woman underestimated, dismissed, but never broken. The revenge of patience, silence, and truth. And as I walk away, I know one thing for certain. Sometimes the most powerful voice is the one that doesn't speak at all. I leave the room quietly, my head held high. No words, no arguments, no final blows. Just silence. The same silence that carried me through every painful moment. The same silence that proved stronger than betrayal. Betrayal tried to silence me, but patience gave me victory. My daughter-in-law thought deceit could bury me, but today the truth buried her instead. I did not need to raise my voice or strike back in anger. I simply endured, and in the end, endurance became my triumph. As I step outside, the heavy air of that room falls away. Sunlight touches my face, warm and soft, a reminder that life continues, that grief does not erase dignity. I take a slow breath, and for the first time in a long time, I feel free. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is silence itself. Not noise, not spectacle, but quiet strength. I walk out into the sunlight, free at last. And as the door closes behind me, I know one truth will follow me forever. Dignity always wins.